This video is an introduction to wholesale for Amazon sellers. In this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, explain to you why I think wholesale is a great business model for Amazon sellers, and the prerequisites of getting started of buying wholesale. So again, my name is Rico Romero. I'm a college student and I currently work full-time. However, I am very passionate about becoming a full-time entrepreneur. I think this is the best way to become financially independent. You get to follow your passion and decide your own path. And I just think that's great. And so what I've done is I started an Amazon business. And what I found was that buying wholesale was the best business model that worked for me. And shortly, I'm going to tell you why. So why wholesale? Well, there's many options for Amazon sellers and business models that they can follow. And I have them listed here. Basically, the first one we have listed here is private labeling. Private labeling is usually using Alibaba and finding manufacturers, typically Chinese manufacturers. I imagine you could do it other ways, but you're going to find a manufacturer and you're going to ask them to create a product and give them some specifications. They send it back to you and you slap on your own brand. You make up your own brand like Rico's brand and you ship it in to Amazon and you hope it sells. So the bad thing about this is it's risky. And so you can spend a lot of capital and you're not too certain if it will sell. And typically you're using Chinese manufacturers. So you're sending this money overseas, which there is some safety nets there. And so that's not the most risky part in my mind. I've done this before. But the risky part is you don't know if your private labeled product is actually going to sell on Amazon. You just hope it does. And there's no information that will tell you yes or no. So, you're taking a risk. So next, it's retail arbitrage. What I found is that many Amazon sellers use this business model. I'm not really fond of it, but maybe you already know it's very easy to enter. You basically go to a Walmart or a thrift store, and you look in the clearance section. You see if the item sells decently on Amazon, and if it does, you buy it for a cheap price, and then you send it in, and you typically make a pretty good profit. However, the downside to it is that it's not sustainable. It's not like you can go to Walmart's clearance items and expect to find the same item that you bought last week this week. So there's no replenishable inventory for yourself. And that's not good. And personally myself, I don't like shopping too much in the first place. So it really wasn't too attractive to me. Moving on, drop shipping. Drop shipping is this business model where basically drop shippers, which are vendors, give you a product list and they say, hey, you can list these products anywhere on any site. So for example, I could list them on Amazon. And with Amazon, there is no per listing fee. So basically I would be charged the same amount of money per month by Amazon if I listed 1 million items versus me only listing 1 item. And so I can list all these drop shippers products and I don't have to pay anything up front. Keep that in mind. And when I do make a sale, I just tell the drop shipper, hey, I made a sale. Please send it to XYZ address. And they will do so. And they will not tell the customer that you just sold this product to that they're actually doing it for you. So you're like the middleman and they won't tell on you pretty much. But the bad thing about that is that these drop shippers, they charge you a high price for them to provide this service for you. Since you're not buying anything up front, they're always higher cost than, let's say, a wholesaler, because you don't have to pay anything up front. So you're operating on real slim margins. And if for whatever reason the customer returns the product, which a good reason, and what I've seen a lot, is that they will return the product because it's overpriced. You have to put on your your margin, your profit onto the price, onto the product's price, and that just makes it too expensive, and they can find that it gets they can buy it somewhere else. So it's not a good business model in my mind. I didn't really like using it. And next, wholesale. Now this is my favorite. This is my meat and potatoes of my business. This is all I do on my Amazon business. All I do is buy wholesale and sell retail on Amazon. That is it. What I found is that I make around 15 to 25% in margin, sales profit margin, and it's sustainable. It's very sustainable. What do I mean by sustainable? I can always go back to the wholesaler, and they have these goods. They'll always have these goods, and so once I do find a product that works for me, that's profitable for me, I can go back, and they'll always have them available typically. And if they don't have them available, they'll get them in, because that's their job. That's what they do. It's not like Walmart or these thrift stores or anything like that, where you're just, you got to hope to find products. You can get a replenishable product that does well. Now, there's going to be external events that could happen, like a seller comes in and is able to undercut your cost, or for whatever reason, the product stops selling as well, for example, things of that nature. But if that happens, all you have to do is pivot, find different products. And what you learn is just, if you can analyze and find out which products will sell well for you and make you profit, then you can always pivot and sell different products if one stops working. And I've done that multiple times. One stopped working, I can go to a different product. And I've had long periods where a product does very well, and it just made me real good income every month. It was very easy. And I'll get into more of that in probably later videos. So let's continue. All right, the prerequisites of buying wholesale. Okay, there's two main prerequisites that you have to have, and there's one optional. The first requirement for you to do business with wholesalers, for you to be able to contact a wholesaler and say, hey, I want a retail account, you have to have these two items. And so the first one is your federal tax ID. Now, a federal tax ID is basically your social security number for your business. And this will be required by wholesalers. The second requirement is a reseller certificate in your state, in the state that you're doing business in. What this is basically a certificate that claims exemption on tax. So you would give this to a wholesaler, and basically what this allows them to do is sell you products. The wholesaler is able to sell you products without charging you any tax, because you're claiming resellers exemption, that you're not the end customer. You are not the consumer that's actually going to be using these products. You are in fact a retailer, and you're going to be selling it to these end consumers. So therefore, you don't have to pay tax, and that's what this does for you. And this is something that you will have to provide your wholesaler. And the optional requirement is to incorporate your business. And typically, you're going to incorporate yourself as an LLC. That stands for Limited Liability Company. And I'll get into more of that later. So basically, this makes you look more legitimate once you're dealing with wholesalers. That's the reason why I've incorporated myself as an LLC. It just makes me look more legit. And what an LLC really does too is that it stands for Limited Liability Company. So basically, your company's is a separate entity from your personal self. So basically, if my company got sued, they cannot go into my personal checking account. They can only get stuff that is money that is inside my business checking account, or has to do with my business. So basically, my business and my personal finances are separate. But again, the real reason why I've incorporated is because I think it looks more legitimate once you're dealing with wholesalers. Okay, so how do you find these two items here that you must have in order to do business with wholesalers? It's very simple, actually. So basically, we'll start with the federal tax ID. I had this site up here. Basically, you go to google.com and you type in how to obtain a federal tax ID. That's it. And you scroll down, and what you'll find is this irs.gov website. Apply for employee identification. This is the link that you want. And basically it gives you some information, but you want to click here, apply online. And right now it's too late to apply online. They only accept it from, I think, 7 to 10 p.m. Yep. But all this is that you'll take you through a step-by-step process. And I think they might ask for your social security number. And it's real easy, real simple, real basic questions. You can do it yourself. Now, there will be some companies that say, hey, we can do this for you. We can get your federal tax ID for you, but they will charge you $80 or maybe more. I don't know. But it is so simple for you to do this yourself. I definitely recommend just coming to this website. Like I said, just go to Google, type in this, how to obtain a federal tax ID. Click on this link, this irs.gov, and then apply online and do it yourself. It's very simple, easy questions to do. And so do this yourself. That's my recommendation, at least. And now, as far as obtaining the second requirement, which is a reseller certificate, and again, it exempts you from tax, is you would go to Google and you would type in how to obtain a reseller's certificate in the state of whatever state you're operating in. I operate in the state of Ohio, and so I say Ohio, and it's going to be one of these first links here. And so you just click inside one of these links. So I clicked on the first one, and it will take you to basically your state's way of getting this tax exemption form, this reseller certificate form. And my state, it calls it a vendor's license, and it's the same thing. It's a reseller certificate, but over here in Ohio, they call it a vendor's license. And basically, you're gonna have to pay them like $25. That's what it cost me here in Ohio. It may cost you something different wherever you live at. And you'll get this form here. You'll get something like this. Obviously, it'll be your state, but basically inside this document, you would just say, okay, put in the vendor's name. So the vendor's name is the wholesaler that you're trying to deal with. So if the wholesaler's name was XYZ Company, I would type that inside here. And then it asks you, why are you claiming exempt? Why are you claiming exempt from taxes? And you just give this simple answer. I'm a reseller, not the end user. Therefore, I'm claiming reseller exemption. And again, this just allows the wholesaler that you're dealing with to sell you items untaxed, because you're the reseller and you're going to sell it to the end consumer and they pay the tax. Okay. And I didn't show inside this screen here, but basically you're going to get a tax ID number, it's going to look like a social security number, just formatted a little bit differently. And that is the other thing that you must give to the wholesaler. And as I said, that you can also incorporate your business as an LLC. Now you can contact your state that you're in and try to give them the right information to incorporate yourself. However, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if you are, maybe you are. So I would probably, if I had to do it by myself, give them wrong information. And if you give them the wrong information, the state will charge you extra money to try to refile your LLC. And so for these reasons, I don't suggest you try to do it yourself. I suggest that you use a website or someone else to do this for you. And the two websites that I suggest is LegalZoom or CorpNet.com. Both of them do the same exact thing. Basically, they'll walk you through on how to incorporate your company as an LLC, and they will give you a certificate and file. They will file to whatever state you're in and get you registered as a LLC inside the state of Ohio or the state of wherever you're at. And like I said, they both do the same thing. They don't do anything different. And so what I would do if I was you is, dependent on your state, look up the price that they would charge for an LLC and see which one's cheaper. Whichever is cheaper, go with them, because they both do the same exact thing. And so that's how you incorporate your business as an LLC. And I will post those two websites there, along with the two Google search terms that you can use to find the federal tax ID and the reseller certificate. In addition to becoming a registered LLC inside my state, PNC, my bank that I bank with, in order for me to get a business checking account, they wanted me to have something called an operating agreement. And as you can see, it's this lengthy Word document, and it has a lot of legal jargon inside here. And again, I don't know how to do this stuff. And so what I did was I told CorpNet, because I went with CorpNet, they were cheaper for me. And I told them, hey, my bank requires me to have an operating agreement in order for me to set up a business checking account. Do you guys do operating agreements? And of course they said, yeah, we do operating agreements. It's going to be like $50-$60 or whatever it was. I'm not really sure, but they can do that. And they provided me with this. And with this, I was able to go to my PNC bank and set up a business checking account. Now, what a business checking account does for you is it separates your business activities from your personal activities. So come tax time, once you file your business your taxes for your business, you can get the bank statements from your business checking account and show them the deposits, the withdrawals, all related to your business, instead of trying to dig through your personal checking account like, well, no, this was for my business, this wasn't for my personal self, so I'm claiming this as an expense, yada, 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 yada. It's just good practice in my mind, and that's what I've done. It's real simple to do. All you need is this here, as I explained already. And that's it. I mean, now with these two pieces of information and optionally you incorporating yourself, you can contact wholesalers and ask to set up retail accounts with them. And so you can buy wholesale and sell retail on Amazon. And that's a very good thing. I mean, I can attest to it working. It works. It's a legitimate business plan. It's something that you can always replenish your items, like I stated up here. And I think it's the #1 way to do business on Amazon as an Amazon seller. All right, questions. So inside this group, I created this Facebook group, and I just want to generate questions and information like this video, and for everyone inside this group to participate and basically get value added from this participation inside this group. And so I encourage everyone to do that. But specifically, a question that comes up after you get your prerequisites is that now that I got all these prerequisites done and I could deal with wholesalers, how do I find these wholesalers? And that is a very good question. And that will be my next topic in a video that I release here very soon. I hope everybody enjoyed this video and you got a lot of information out of it. Please leave me any other questions that you may have, and I will leave again the text on what you need to do to find these as I shown above inside my post. And I hope everyone has a good day. Thank you very much. Goodbye.